by ending some of the partisan gerrymandering so that all voters have the power to choose their politicians, not the other way around. And if all this takes eliminating the filibuster, another Jim Crow relic, in order to secure the God-given rights of every American, then that's what we should do.
So let's imagine for a minute that the Democratic Party gets its wish in 2020 and wins back the White House. Let's get really wild and say Democrats take back the Senate as well. There is one thing that would make every bold progressive idea that was introduced a completely moot point: the filibuster. Now, for those who may need a recap, the filibuster is a political tactic that allows a minority of 40 senators to completely shut down a piece of legislation. It was created originally with the idea that parties might work together and reach a compromise on issues they disagreed on. But in today's political climate, the filibuster has been weaponized so that absolutely nothing can pass without a super majority. Okay, done with the civics lesson.
The default response was keep it as it is, remain as it is. And I think when people don't know a lot about an issue, that tends to be where they go. What surprised me in looking at the data across different subgroups was how remarkably consistent responses were. There were not significant differences per party, as we usually see on many questions. And again, that's an indication that this issue, I think, doesn't have a great deal of national salience. The discussion of the filibuster has been there for the last 20 years in the background, but it's moved to the foreground in part because of things that both Biden and Obama have said, and so it's a broader subject of discussion now, but it isn't one that's engaged the American people at this point. I think it's always going to be an inside story for the members of the Senate. The fact that Barack Obama raised it recently, I thought was significant. This has been percolating for a long time among people who care deeply about the effects of the filibuster. I think it would be hard to engage the public on the rules of the Senate. We all have a lot of things to do in our ordinary lives, and somehow I don't see this becoming a front burner issue for many Americans.
Pretty big, huge news there, Crystal.
Absolutely.
And kind of the way I was looking at it.
It's a first for him.
Well, it's brilliant, actually, for the Biden campaign, because let's think about this. Obama, let's be honest, far more well-spoken, to put it nicely, and popular than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So Biden comes out and he's like, yeah, maybe we'll do the filibuster. Then Obama goes out there, first of all, at the vaunted funeral of John Lewis,
right.
This huge mantle, and he's like, yeah, we have to end the filibuster. Now Biden can just say, I agree with former President Obama. I don't think that filibuster is long for this world, and a lot of Republicans look like idiots for not doing it. A couple of years earlier under Trump, saying, "Oh, if we do this, then the Democrats won't do it." It's like a lot of us tried to tell you so, but just a further erosion of that norm.
Yeah,
and it's a big deal. I mean, there's just no other way to say it.
It is a really big deal. I personally am fully and have been for a while in support of doing that because of the way it really has been overused and completely abused, starting in the Obama era. I mean, once Mitch McConnell became Senate Majority Leader, the use of the filibuster just absolutely skyrocketed. So it just became a default, like you have to get 60 plus votes in the Senate in order to get anything passed, essentially for any major piece of legislation. So it really has stood in the way as a roadblock for change. And especially, look, the Senate is sort of an undemocratic institution the way it is set up to start with, where you have equal representation for North Dakota as you do New York. So when you add the filibuster on top of that, it becomes even less democratic.